Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Manx Virtual Railway. It's great to be back. It's been a little while. I hope you're enjoying the Manx Transport Festival. Thank you to the Alaman Heritage Railway Society for asking me to be a part of that. So I was speaking to Mike Buttle, and he asked me to do a quick video basically showing workings around St John's. So I have done a video about this, but it was a little bit rough and ready. So I've done a bit more research, and I've hopefully come up with something which is a fairly typical movement around the station on a day when it would have been run as part of the Alaman Railways, with lines going to Ramsey and Peel. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump into the game. And first of all, I want to show you a nice schematic of St John's Station. We've got the Foxdale Railway terminus and the Old Manx Northern Railway terminus over here, complete with the sandpit siding. These would have been changing all the time, running off different parts of the line. We've got the Alaman Railway section of the station, the eastern side, which became, the main terminus. You can clearly see where the old connections used to run through, and also this used to head over to that sandpit siding at one point. Then used as the carriage shed head shunt. We've got the carriage shed here, and we've got two trains today. We've got one that's just arrived from Ramsey, and we've got a train that's just about to arrive from Douglas, and it's double-headed. So we'll be splitting that train up to go to its relevant destinations. So without further ado, let's have a look at these locos. First of all, I want to make sure that my cylinder cocks are open, and they are. Let's get this thing moving. So you will quickly notice that I am not the world's best steam locomotive driver, or engineer, or whatever you want to call it. However, you are stuck with me. So just coming over the Ballacrane crossing here. Slowollian in the background. Traffic's behaving and not trying to drive through the gates. So these 14XX tank locos from the Great Western, I think they do a fairly good job of standing in for the Bay of Peacocks. They've got the right kind of vibe about them. So we're just about to go under the bridge that carries the Foxdale line over. Let's apply some brakes now. Might need to apply a bit more in the way of braking just to stop before the junction. Yeah. So I'm going to apply the handbrakes. So, first thing you will notice is we do have the points box, as Mr. Crellin would have liked to have called it. However, the signal is different. I couldn't find a two-arm signal which would clear different parts of the station, so we have a route indicated signal instead. The first thing that we are going to do then is split up this locomotive from the rest of the train, and this loco is going to go and take on some water. So this loco is now called X-Douglas number 1. I haven't allocated them realistic names today. I'm also not going to do the water crane because it does have a tendency to crash, and I just don't really want to get sucked into that today. So now we've got that loco safely there. Let's see if we can actually go and take control of the next one. There we go. Right. This is now going to make up the Peel section of the train. So let's set those points. We're going to go into platform 1. We've got a green signal, which is always a good sign. We're going to take the brakes off the first 3 carriages. And the locomotive, of course. Cylinder cocks open. And let's draw forward into the station. Easy does it. Those happy looking passengers there. So it might seem odd abandoning 2 carriages on the line, but I am assured, or certainly the sources I've used like J.C. Boyd's book assure me that this was standard practice. And of course, things were quirky. Compare the Alaman Railway to the the adjacent Isles railways. You know, things like fly shunting were very much banned over there, whereas we got away with it on the island because of the smaller nature of the network and the very safe running practices. There we go. Now that Peel section is basically ready to go to Peel. We'll let the passengers off, etc. Now this is where it gets slightly more interesting. Just because the loco came from Ramsey doesn't mean it's not going to go back there. This is actually going to draw back and pick up the rest of the coaches, and it's going to return to Ramsey. I'm sure the crew will be very, you know, you've got to consider the crew when it comes to this. If this is the last train of the day, and you had a Ramsey crew, they'd want to go back to Ramsey. So it makes sense for this loco to go back rather than this one proceeding to Douglas. Yeah, it's a little bit of a tight curve, that one. Again, this is one of the problems with using standard gauge rather than the 3-foot gauge, is that some of the corners, the radiuses on them, have to be a little bit unrealistic to make them work. Ooh, a little bit of a lug tap, but pretty comfortably there. Let's get the brakes off. Did I remember this? Yep, cylinder cocks are open. Now, we're going to draw this train through onto the 4th road. We call them platforms in the game, but really, you know, there was a raised platform at St John's, but it wasn't anything special. It was a few inches. Here we go. So, of course, this bridge here was, they had to make it double line ready. I presume at some point the Alaman Railways intended to make a double line through the system. The bridge at Pull Rose was also spec'd as a double line bridge. Would have been interesting to see where that happened. That's something I may be able to recreate in the game someday, a double line running, see how it would have looked. It's the wonders of virtual reality, is it's relatively easy to do all of that. I can literally just copy and paste the route I've got and then make amendments to it. There we go. That's our Ramsey train ready, and they can take on water if they so choose. Again, I'm not going to. I don't want to crash the game now. Now, let's see if we can get back onto our number 1 loco. Yes, we can. It's worked. Wonderful. So many times the game's crashed when I've tried to do this. So, let's see. Have we got the cylinder cocks open? No. Let's do that. And let's reverse back out. Come on, train. Oh, I put the handbrake on. That's right. Silly driver. Oh, that's accelerating quickly. So, this loco, which came from Douglas, is going to go back to Douglas. So let's get that back onto the Douglas part of the train. There we go. We're not going to get a green signal this time because, well, there's coaches on the platform. The route is not clear. So in this case, what would have happened is Mr. Crellin in his points box would have waved a white flag, and that would have been to indicate that the driver was clear to proceed. We're going to ask for request to pass signal at danger, and that will give us the same permission, basically. There we go. Take the handbrake off again, Ian. Not too fast. Don't want to give the passenger too much of a fright. As you can see, I've started doing some point rodding at the station, which is a small detail but an important one, especially at St John's where there were so many points. Ooh, a little bit of a bump there. But if we go to our aerial view and have a look now, you should hopefully see that we now have 3 trains ready to depart. We've got our train heading back to Douglas on the middle board platform 3 here with a little mixed train. We've got our train ready to head to Ramsey, and we've got our train ready to head to Peel. So that kind of finishes that movement. However, Mr. Buttle has asked me to show you 2 other things. So first of all, we're going to show the movements surrounding the Foxdale line. Now, this would have been slightly complicated, and if you look here, obviously the platforms are all taken up, and the Foxdale coach is here. So I believe something that must have happened is they must have waited for the Ramsey train to depart at least, and probably the Peel one as well, and then run the Foxdale train with the Douglas-bound loco or something like that. So we're going to clear the platforms, and we're then going to have a look at how that would happen. And then the grand finale, we can't do St John's and different traffic workings without having a bit of a race between the Peel and Ramsey trains, can we? So that'll be to finish off the video. So let's go over and we'll do a quick switch and clear the platform so we can run our Foxdale train. And we're back at St John Station. You will hopefully be able to see that the Ramsey and Peel trains have both departed, leaving our Douglas-bound train in the station. And we're going to take a little run up the Foxdale line. So you will note that we do have a separate terminus for the Foxdale Railway. However, after the Alaman Railways took over running the different systems, they quickly dispensed with using that station. Bit of a shame, it's a beautiful building, but I can understand the decision, the rationale behind it. It must have seemed excessive using 2 different stations, really. So I can only presume that either a Ramsey or a Douglas running loco would have run this train in between doing their services. It was only a short amount of time to do the route, and I can't see them having used up valuable resources keeping a loco to run the Foxdale line, unless it was something like, Tynwald Day. So again, we haven't got permission to go up there just yet because there is, stock occupying the line. However, we've got permission to run forward. Mr. Crowley would have been hanging out with his white flag again. So yeah, Foxdale passengers would have been able to alight in the siding there. All of the rails were ballasted up to rail height. The platforms were actually shorter in real life, but with this being standard gauge, it seemed a bit odd having people climbing up a jungle gym just to get up to their carriage. So, of course, in real life, the Foxdale coach was F39, which is in current use, carrying the Purple Lake livery. Oh, that was a little bit of a shunt. Lovely to see that carriage in use regularly. It would have been used regularly on the Foxdale line. There are pictures. Certainly, I've seen a video of F39 along with a Clemenson being used to run the system. However, a single coach would have been common. I think a single coach with M-wagons would have been even more common. But today we're going to keep things simple. We're just going to do a passenger service. There we go. Back through to the points box. Let's switch the points so we can go through platform 4. And we're now going to reverse all the way to the junction with the Foxdale line. Apparently this a large portion of the journey was taken up with this. Oh, look at that tilt. Definitely need some track work there, boys. Oh, I'm speeding now. I make no apologies for my driving. My interest is in building on this. The driving bit is definitely secondary. Our level crossing is nice and clear. I had to reinstate the poacher's pocket. It was just a shame to see a good pub gone to waste. Scooter Club are out in force today. A few people have commented that I've not got the turntable in place here, and it's a shame, but I've not been able to figure out a way to make that work. It's just a bit too complicated. The game basically doesn't really like turntables, and also the ones I could find are too big. I'd have had to have made the sidings wider apart, and it just caused all sorts of complications. I'm just going to ignore the electric signal there, the LED lighting system. But yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to stop in the Foxdale station, because frankly they wouldn't have in Isle of Man Railway ownership. We're not going to make the full journey to Foxdale today, because this is about the traffic movement, it's not about that journey. If you do want to take a journey up to Foxdale, there is a video on YouTube. Same channel, just click on the channel and look through my previous videos. It should be labelled quite clearly. I'm going to take our run up onto the 1 in 49. There we go, building up a good head of steam there. The Neb Valley in the background. And there we go. Off departs our train to Foxdale. Hello again, and you join us back in St John Station with the Ramsey and Peel departures. I'm not going to talk over this one. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.